So in this eye, you can see a very, very thick skin ring. You see how thick it is? That black ring around the eye. It's covering most of the iris, at least the top parts, the major parts of it. This means your thyroid is weak. It means that your thyroid is not working properly. It means that your kidneys are also weak. So you got to fix the kidneys, so you got to fix the thyroid. Because when the kidneys are weak, the skin will try and take the burden. And since the skin is not the best at eliminating waste, it will have the skin ring. It will deposit the acids underneath the skin. So we need to get the skin sweating more. We need to fix the thyroid. We need to fix the kidneys. If you look closely, there's a dark ring around the pupil here. That's a malabsorption ring. It means you're not absorbing nutrients properly due to mucus plaque in the small intestines. Okay, this is stopping absorption or limiting it. So you'll be eating more and more food, but you're not getting the nutrients. It's very important you remove that by using the bowel cleanser and the bowel strength herbs. Okay, if we look very closely around, you see fine lines leaching out of the pupil. This is called radii solaris. Indicates there's toxic tunnels of waste leaching out to other body parts and glands. So especially the brain section. This is the brain section here. Okay, it's very heavy with lymph. If you look at the eye, you see that white cloud-like structure. That's lymph. That means your kidneys are not filtering out your metabolic waste or your lymphatic system. So the lymphatic system is backing up. It's getting stagnant, like a river. It's like a sewer system that's not moving properly. It will back up. It will start stinking. It won't work properly. So we got to move the lymphatic system with 100% food diet. We got to get the kidneys to filter. You need kidney herbs, a lot of kidney herbs, okay, and adrenals. You can address the adrenals as well. You see the bowels, see those white line going around the bowels. That's called an autonomic nerve wreath. Indicates that your digestion is weak, okay, due to nervous system is weak, due to weak adrenals. And if you look closely, your bowel, this here is ascending colon here, this section here. Right here is transverse colon, right here is descending colon. You can see it's spastic. It goes in and out, in and out. This indicates spastic bowels, okay? There could be fecal matter impacted in the bowel walls. We need to address this. I would use the bowel cleanser, and I would use the bowel strength herbs as well. Very important to do that, to clean it up. If you look closely, there's a purple hue in the actual pupil. That's cholesterol. Okay, indicates potential eye issues, potential cataract. Around the iris is also a purple hue as well. That's potential cholesterol. Cholesterol is used by the body to bind to acids. When the acids can't leave the body through to the kidneys, being weak, it will use cholesterol to bind and fight the acids. So we got to get the body alkaline by using herbs and fruits and the herbs. If you look closely, there are little beads going around here. It's called a lymph rosary. Indicates that the lymph nodes are potentially swelling or stagnant. So you don't want that to be the case. So let's get the lymph moving with 100% fruit diet, unless you use herbs, okay, to help you push it out. The eyes here, the sclera, show a lot of red blood vessels. Indicates high acidosis in line with the high cholesterol. Okay, so we need to fix these things quickly. Right here, you can see, okay, right here, this dark spot here, that's the pituitary gland. It's chronic. The pituitary gland is the master gland, the gland that controls all the other glands, endocrine glands, including the thyroid, parathyroid, pineal, hypothalamus, adrenals. So it's very weak. You need to use a pituitary glandular or endocrine tincture, okay? Right here is where the pineal gland is located. This affects sleep. You can have sleep issues if you don't fix this. You can use a pineal glandular to address this. Right here is the equilibrium center of the brain, okay? You can see it's chronic. And right here is the medulla and mastoid region, as well as cerebellum. Now, these are responsible for balancing equilibrium dizziness. And the cerebellum is used for the main communicator between the brain and the rest of the body through the central nervous system. So these need to be addressed. If you don't address them, you start getting dizzy, balancing issues, equilibrium issues. The brain section all here is full of lymph. So you need to use a neurological tincture 1 to address this, okay, to help fix this part. So right here is the ear, neck, and shoulder region. Right here is the ear, neck, and shoulder region. You can see heavy lymph stagnation, congestion, okay? It's moving to the chronic side. And this dark line right here, hits the heart region. So the heart is located right here. I want you to use a circulation tincture, okay, to address this. Because when the heart is congested like this, just be safe. You should take a circulation tincture to boost blood flow to the region. And right here is the upper and lower lung region, okay, all heavy lymph stagnation, congestion. I would use respiratory T and respiratory 1 tincture to break the mucus here, help break the mucus. Right here is the chest, ribs, and thorax region, all heavy lymph stagnation, congestion. Again, use the same respiratory T and respiratory 1 tincture can help contain this mucus. The breast is located right here as well. It's full of lymph stagnation. I would use a circulation tincture to address this region, all of it as well. Right here is where the spleen is located. Okay, when the spleen is congested, that it can affect the blood. This is because the spleen cleans the blood. So I would use the spleen tincture if you can get it to help clean up the spleen and strengthen it. Okay, right here is where the testes and ovaries are. Okay, right here is the pancreas, and right here the testes and ovaries, all heavy lymph stagnation, congestion. I would use a female reproductive tincture to strengthen this part. The hand and arms are located right here, okay, heavy limb stagnation, congestion. And the diaphragm is located right here as well, okay, all heavy limb stagnation, congestion. Right here is where the pelvis, urethra, and groin region are all located. Heavy limb stagnation, congestion. Use a circulation down tincture to boost blood flow to this region. Right here is the left foot, knee, and thigh region, okay, especially the knee region here. It has a lot of congestion there, so we need to use a lower circulation tincture to address this. So this dark spot here, this is the kidneys and adrenals. Right here is the adrenals, okay, you can see it's heavy limb stagnation, congestion. Right here is the kidneys, so you can see they move it to the chronic side. It's very obvious that the kidneys are very weak, otherwise you won't have the skin ring. It's very obvious kidneys are weak because otherwise you won't have the thick lymph in your eye. The adrenals are weak because you have, it shows as the nerve rings. You can see slight rings going around the eye, very slight. And also the autonomic nerve wreath, that line around the bowels indicates weak digestion, weak adrenals. So use adrenal tincture, adrenal glandula, use a kidney tincture as well to address this. So right here is where the scrotum, anus, and the vagina uterus region is located. Okay, heavy limb stagnation, congestion. I would use the female reproductive formula here. We call it a reproductive F to address this section here, to strengthen it. So right here is where the bladder is located, okay? Here's the lower back. You can see it's getting to the chronic side. When you have lower back issues, usually it's related to the kidneys, and it's very obvious right here, okay? So we have lower back, middle back, upper back region, all congested with lymph, and the spine runs right here, also full of lymph stagnation, congestion. Use a circulation tincture, get the kidneys filtered, get the adrenals working better, and this will move away. Right here is where the scapula is located, okay, and the esophagus is located right here, that dark line right here. And right here is where the voice box is located. So the whole throat region is full of congestion. And use the respiratory T and the respiratory 1 tincture to help you alleviate the congestion here. Right here, you see that dark spot there, that's where the thyroid is located. You can see it's heavy limb stagnation, congestion. You can see there's a correlation between the thyroid weakness and the pituitary gland weakness, as I mentioned. Remember that this gland controls this gland. So it controls all the endocrine glands. So this, as you can see, it's quite a good correlation between the two. Both are chronic. Use the thyroid lift tincture, okay? And beside it is the parathyroid, and above it is the tonsils. Parathyroid is what's used for calcium utilization in the body. So bone issues, skin issues, in terms of integrity, bowel issues, where the bowel is spastic, is due to parathyroid in part. The tonsils are responsible for cleaning the head of acids. Okay, so when it's weak, you're going to have issues with your sinuses, etc. So it's a good idea to keep it in good working order. If you use a circulation tincture, go have some fruit diet, you do very well. So right here at the sinuses, so we have the tongue, lower jaw, the nose, upper jaw, and mouth region, as well as the eyes, all located here. This is sinuses, and it's full of mucus congestion here. You can see lymph stagnation. So you need to clean them out. Use an antipart of eucalyptus oil or peppermint oil. Use ear candling. Use a true horseradish root to help break the mucus. Clean the nose. Do the ear candling. Do lymphatic massages at the back of the head. Do hot and cold compresses at the back of the head. Anything you can do to break the mucus congestion of the sinuses. Okay, because remember I told you when the tonsils are not working well or they're congested, you get sinus issues as well because they're interconnected. Okay, so we need to address these. Okay, so use the measures I shared with you, and use the circulation tincture, use the neurological tincture as well to help you in this part. The brain section is the most pressing part in the eye here, apart from the bowels. Okay, so you need to use neurological tincture. You need to clean the bowels. Bowels are spastic and chronic. Okay, clean the malabsorption ring around here because it's blocking absorption for you. So use a bowel cleanser, bowel strength tincture as well. Fix the kidneys and adrenals because you have a lot of lymph stagnation. Kidneys and adrenals are very weak. Use an adrenal tincture, use a kidney tincture, use a kidney tea, okay? It's very important to do that, and go 100% fruit diet. I would use a 20-30 dark grape only diet. Because the lymph stagnation is really thick, it's going to take a bit of time to clean this up, okay? So, but you're going to feel better as you go along. When you change the diet, you're going to feel better, and with time, things will improve. It will get lighter, and all this stagnation will leave.